Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Storm Collectibles Guilty Gear Strive Soul Badguy. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that the figure is showcased in your standard Storm Collectibles window box packaging. Turning the box around, we can see multiple images and panels showcasing the figure in multiple posing positions with his different interchangeable parts and accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at Soul Badguy, Heaven or Hell. I absolutely have been wanting Guilty Gear figures for such a long time, and of course we're getting them from Storm Collectibles, which are the king of fighting game figures, you know what I mean? So I definitely hope we see a lot more characters from Guilty Gear, from Storm Collectibles, because I would love an entire line of those. That'd be amazing. But this guy right here, Soul Badguy, one of my favorite fighting game characters out there, and I just love the look. He always looks very cool, very unique, you know, very anime inspired and things like that. But I love his jacket here. We got the black lining going throughout. You got all these gold buckles and silver trims and things like that, all these crazy accents. And Storm does not skip on the paint. You know, I mean, you can look at the shoulders here. He has these giant handcuffs just strapped to his shoulders for whatever reason. Even the little rivets right here are painted gold on the shoulders like that. You can kind of see he just has like more of like a tank top undershirt with like a zipper thing going on like that, which looks really good. These big cuffs where his jacket sleeves are folded up with the white inline. Again, more of those gold paint right there on those little studs. Even things like his gloves here, the little buckles, he just has buckles everywhere for some reason. The little gold accents look really, really good. Down to the legs here, his nice bag, almost like, kind of like, I don't know what they are, kind of like cowboy pants. Didn't he have spurs at one point in one of the games? You know what I mean? But these straps here look really good. Again, more gold paint with the buckles. There's a nice little sculpted detail right there in the legs. Again, these look awesome. The straps coming down to the back of the boots. That does say something. Let me see if I can zoom in and see what it says there. Fight fire with fire. Yeah, I could not see that with my normal eyes. Damn, I need glasses. But that looks really cool too. The boots look great. I do love that, the black, red, and again, the gold trim just everywhere. They did not skimp on the gold trim. Looks like it has more writing back here on the back of the belt. That I cannot, I have zero clue. Does it just say Soul Badguy? I don't know. Again, I cannot read that, but you can see more of the gold trim and things like that. The back of the jacket looks really good as well. Again, these layered belts. Again, more buckles. This really cool symbol on the back of the jacket, really cool. Really sculpted detail on that. Looks really nice. You can see how long his ponytail is. This belt is just a separate floating piece. I do love the belt a lot. It can get kind of a pain in the butt when posing them, but it works. Again, lots of gold in there, the little strap, or excuse me, like a little flap, almost like a loincloth piece kind of hanging in front of that. And it just says free right on there like that. I love that so much. Such a cool looking, unique character, man. And again, I really hope we get more Guilty Gear figures in the future from Storm. So moving on to his accessories, we of course do get a ton of interchangeable hands. You get things like closed-fisted hands, gripping hands, and all kinds of different stylized posing hands, which all work really, really good. We also do get 3 interchangeable head sculpts with 3 ponytails. The ponytails are detachable, so those are actually really nice, and we get 1 for each head, so I guess that's pretty cool, unless one breaks, you know, you got a replacement there. But you get a standard head. Again, all of these look really nice. Again, very anime influence. Looks just like the artwork from the video game. You got the one where he's like smiling and smirking because he's kind of a cocky bastard, and I honestly love that about Soul Badguy. So that works really cool too. And then you got that really nice yelling action posed head, which looks awesome. I took a ton of pictures using that head. So those all work really, really well. Again, these heads are just on standard ball pegs. You could take this one, pop this one on right there, and it works out really, really nice. I went ahead and already put on a fisted hand, or excuse me, a gripping hand like that. And these cuffs are separate pieces, so you just want to be careful not to lose those as you're switching hands. But of course, one of the coolest accessories and one of the just coolest weapons, I think, is going to be his sword, which is just redonkulous. This thing is so big and beefy. I love it so much. It has this almost like metallic orangish red color on there. It looks really cool. You can kind of see it change color as I move it around. It's almost like an iridescent, but then you got all these cracked details and things like that around the blade. The gold or yellow going through here that's supposed to, I guess, like it glows in the game. And then you got his like buckle strap thing. That's kind of like how he holds onto it. You got some wording on there. He actually holds onto it over his shoulder by holding onto the strap like that. So that's really cool too. And this thing, it does feel hollow. It's not super heavy. So when you want to get it in his hand, and he does hold this primarily upside down like that. That is how he tends to carry his sword and swing it. And you can get some pretty cool poses. And you can see this is like, it'll hold kinda, but eventually it'll droop down like that, you know what I mean? So I wish it was a little bit of a lighter plastic, but it's honestly not terrible. I was able to get some really good poses and pictures like this, you know, swinging around this big beefy thing like that. So I do love that a lot. Put that to the side. And then also he comes with this ridiculous flame effect. Do you see how huge this thing, I mean, look how big it is in my hand. This thing is ginormous. Storm does not hold back when it comes to their effects, you know, because a lot of these fighting game characters have effect pieces like fire and ice and blood effects and all that kind of stuff. And you could just see how huge this thing is. It is almost like a blown hollow plastic. You kind of see like that. But it's just, the size of it is just amazing. I love that they included him. You can see how big it is next to him here. I mean, this thing is huge. And he does use his fire blasts and things like that with his sword to, you know, shoot this big old fireball, whatever you want to call it, firewall, if anything. So I do appreciate that a lot, man. Very, very cool piece. One thing I want to note real quick too is that I don't talk about enough is that all of these Storm figures come with a cardboard insert that almost kind of double as like a Dio background, and it usually incorporates some type of fighting game scene within that specific video game. So you definitely got this backdrop here that works out really cool. You can see these different types of giants here that have been like stabbed through their hearts and things like that. You can see a bunch of them in the background like that. I think those are really, really cool. And you can see all of this rock, almost like the Grand Canyon type of thing right here. And they're pretty cool if you want to like pose a figure in front of them like that, maybe for your display, or if you're taking pictures, you can use these as some type of battle scene, which I think is really cool. So again, that's not necessarily an accessory, but I think it's just pretty cool that they, you know, give us stuff like that just for a little more bang for your buck. And I genuinely do appreciate that. So now let's move on to articulation here. The head and neck of a ball peg that rolls around pretty good. Like that does turn left and right, up and down. The hair is just on a pin, so it rotates just like that. And again, can come off like so. So you can just put that back in like that. The arms are really nice too because there is butterfly joints in there. You can see the little socket in there. So those kind of like roll around. You get these nice circular motions up, down, out to the side, cross body back like that, rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbows, but since he's so thick here and he has so much going on, you can only bend a little bit past 90, rotation at the wrist as well as a hinge at the wrist. You get that Storm double ball peg at the bottom right here and into the upper torso, so that rolls all the way around like that, does turn left and right, pivot side to side, crunches back and forth very, very well. You got hip joints that kick up and forward that far, back all the way like so, splits out all the way very nicely. Rotation in upper thigh a little bit right there. Double jointed knees can go about that far, again a little bit past 90. Since this cuff of his pant leg is so low hanging, honestly this is probably the worst of the articulation. There's an ankle rocker in there, but it barely does anything. You can barely go up and down, but he does have a toe articulation in there like that. So that's probably gonna be my biggest complaint. But again, that's more part of the sculpt and the design, and not really much of a fault for Storm Collectibles here, but still, God, this thing is so dope. I love this. This is one Storm figure I have been anticipating for such a long time now. Again, he's one of my favorite fighting game characters, and I've just been wanting Guilty Gear figures for such a long time. Right now, I've been playing Guilty Gear Strive on my PS5 a lot lately, you know what I mean? And he's definitely one of my go-tos. I love the fact that they're coming out with different color variants. I definitely want to pick those up, especially of this guy, even though I don't normally do that. But again, he's one of my favorites, and I definitely want to pick up the different colors. So if you love Guilty Gear or just want a badass fighting game figure, then I think Soul Badguy is definitely a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a couple other Storm Collectibles figures, being Street Fighter's Balrog and Mortal Kombat's Reptile. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of Soul Badguy. Now overall, I think this guy's freaking awesome. I have been waiting for good Guilty Gear figures for a very long time, and of course we're getting them from Storm Collectibles, the king of fighting game figures. I absolutely love the articulation. The ankles are going to be a little hindered here and there, so that is a complaint of mine. But the sculpt of this thing is gorgeous, with all those buckles and straps and crazy detail, and I love that Storm Collectibles does not skimp on paint. I mean, anything that could be painted is painted, and it's painted beautifully. There's no glopping or anything like that. I absolutely love his different interchangeable heads, hands. I love that giant fire effect piece. That thing is impressive, and I absolutely love that big beefy sword. I mean, that sword is definitely sorting. The only thing that I would complain about that is I wish it was a little bit lighter. That's not too crazy, but it can droop a little bit when you have it in certain poses. But still, this thing is awesome, man. Again, I hope we get more characters from the Guilty Gear world, as those are just some really well designs. But I love this piece. I cannot wait to pick up the other colorways, and for me, he is definitely a must get. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.